everybody, it's Dre here. Today we are doing 3 looks, 3 palettes. This is a new series for me. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to use up every one of my palettes, not use up, please, that would take forever. Try to use every one of my palettes one at a time without repeating until I get to the end of my collection, because I eventually want to declutter and I want to make sure that I at least have used everything, have a general sense of how I like it, etc. So in the process, I thought it'd be fun for me to bring you guys a look each time I do this. I created a playlist for this series and I'll link that in the description bar below, as well as last week's video, a link to that if you missed it. But starting out this week, the first of the 3 looks is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. This is actually one of my absolute favorite palettes, and this is in my top 5 favorite permanent palettes video that I did. I'll link that too, because I think that's a really good video. You can see like close-ups of swatches and all that kind of thing. So I will close you up. I will close you up in a second, but let me just tell you what I did here first. So starting out with Almond Truffle. This is one of my favorite shades in this palette. It is really good transition shade. So I use that as my transition shade. I used Bordeaux in the crease and tried to keep it mostly in the outer crease. This is just a really nice deep warm brown. It's matte. Almond Truffle is also matte. And then I used Black Currant, which is this purple sparkly shade all over the entire lid, and I really packed that on. After I did that though, I felt like I didn't have enough depth, so I went in with this beautiful satiny shade, this dark truffle shade in the outer V. I used Divinity on my brow bone as my brow bone highlight, and then on the bottom I just took a combination of dark truffle and Bordeaux, kind of more to the outside, and I tried to use Black Currant kind of all along the you know, the lash line, but it didn't really show up as much as I wanted it to. But anyway, everything is a nice kind of smoky effect. So I will zoom you in now. Starting with my waterline, I use the Buxom Hold the Line waterproof eyeliner in Call Me. It's just a black kohl eyeliner. And then I use from the drugstore the Physicians Formula Eye Booster. This is just such a good brush tip eyeliner. It's really just as good as the Kat Von D one. On my lips, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Pillow Talk. I use this so much. I just put it all over my lips, and then on top I went in with this gloss. This is the Urban Decay Revolution gloss in the shade Liar. And then on my cheeks, one of my favorite all-time blushes ever is Down Boy from The Balm. I love this blush. Look at that. It's just such a beautiful pink glow. Love it so much. It's a matte blush, but somehow it gives me a glow. I don't know how that works. Anyway, on my highlight, or as my highlight, is this Vincent Longo. This is not a very commonly known brand. I bought this at Hudson's Bay in the shade Flora, and this is kind of like a silvery violet toned highlight. I really love this. Every time I put this on, I'm just like surprised all over again by how beautiful it is. And lastly, as my lashes, I'm using Dodo lashes in the shade D207, and these are kind of big and fluffy lashes, but they're not like overly weird shape. They're just kind of a regular, like swooped up lash. I kind of like them. So for my look today, I used the Too Faced Sugar Pop palette, which is a palette I haven't used in a very long time. I can actually remember the last time I used this, and it was in the spring after the Sephora VIB sale, because I recorded the video wearing pretty much this exact same look, and a bunch of you really loved it, and I figured I would recreate that. There is no real transition shade, so I actually had to bring in one. So I used MAC Soft Brown as my transition shade. But then in the crease, I went in with Blackberry, which is this beautiful matte. It's like a brown, but it's got this purpley undertone to it, and it's so pretty. And I put that just kind of in the outer crease. And then I put Malted Milk Ball on the outer third, bubblegum in the middle, and then rock candy in the inner third. And on the bottom lash line, I just took a pencil brush and I put bubblegum kind of all over the inner 2/3, and then blackberry kind of smudged in with that on the outer third. So after I did this look, I realized it kind of reminds me of Neapolitan ice cream, but I like it. I like it anyway. This is kind of a really cool, interesting palette. It was limited edition, but I don't know if it's still available. I think it might be. Face, I have Kat Von D tattoo liner as my upper liner, and I have tight lined with the Essence Gel waterproof eye pencil in Black Blaze. These have quickly become favorites. These are again the Sephora House of Lashes collaboration lashes in Everlasting. I love these. And then on my cheeks, I busted out Urban Decay's Afterglow blush in Rapture. This is obviously a very deep blush, but I used a light hand so it's not too crazy on the cheeks. And then Hard Candy Tiki as my highlight. And then on my lips, I have Charlotte Tilbury's Lip Cheat in Pillow Talk. And this Bare Minerals, it doesn't say on the bottle what it is, but it's their new line of Gen Nude liquid lipsticks. And the name of it is Swag. Hi guys, I figured this week I would do 4, but I actually decided that after I did the last one where I did the outro, so I'm actually sticking this in the middle of one of them. This is behind the scenes stuff. I just thought you might care, so I threw it in there. Okay, so today I'm using the Lorac Pro 2 palette. This is what this looks like. I have not used this very much, to be honest with you. It looks like I have, but that's just because the shadows are very messy. I am kind of scared of the darker side of this palette, to be honest, because these shadows have so much fallout and they're so pigmented that to do like a dark smoky eye can get really out of control with these. If you have a light hand and you're patient, it can look beautiful, but that's why I tend to stick with just kind of the lighter shades in here, because I know I can't really mess it up. So that's what I did today. So I'm sorry if the look is a little boring, but let's just talk about what I used. In my crease, I have Cool Gray, which I really, really like for cool tone looks. It's just kind of has a little bit of lavender to it. And then I have in my transition Nectar, which is this beautiful light peach shade and is really good for buffing colors out. I really like it for that. I have Rose, or is it Rosé? No, it's Rosé on the inner third of my lid, and then I have Mocha on the outer 2/3 of my lid. And then just in the inner corner, I have Snow, which is actually one of my favorite inner corner highlights I have ever seen in any palette. I think it is absolutely beautiful and stunning. I've talked about this before, it's beautiful. I just took a little bit of the Cool Gray that was left on my brush and I just swiped it underneath my eye, and then just a little bit more Nectar in there for a pretty simple, everyday, pretty look. That's what I'm going for today, so I will zoom you in. I did a wing today with the Ardent in Punker liquid eyeliner. I actually probably did this a little too large and dramatic because I'm not wearing false lashes, and that never kind of seems to even out. But I used my Tarte Opening Act Lash Primer to kind of give my lashes just a little bit more volume, and then the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara, which is still probably in my top 3 of all time. On my face, I'm using Tarte's Exposed, which is just like everybody talks about this, just a beautiful everyday neutral blush. I've really been loving this a lot lately. And then one of my favorite highlighters, Mary Luminizer. There's what it looks like, and there's what it looks like. Stunning highlight. I love this every time I wear it. I don't know, it's just great. On my lips, I lined my lips with the Rimmel Exaggerate lip pencil in the shade Enchantment. And then I'm using from last year's holiday kit, the Bite Beauty, what are these called? Matte Cream Lip Crayon. And this is in the shade Torte. I am going with this Milani Everyday Eyes palette, and this is the one that's called O2 Bare Necessities. These palettes are so amazing. Now, I know I wanted to go with a very neutral eye look today because I was doing a very, very bold lip. I used almost every shade in this palette. I used this very nice kind of neutral light brown as my transition shade. I used this one all over the lid. I used this nice dark matte brown as my crease shade, and I also kind of brought it a little bit down into the outer V, and then I just went over that with this kind of, I don't even know what this is, metallic, beautiful brownie shade in the outer V as well, and then I used this one here as my brow bone highlight, and I really like how it turned out. The bottom lash line completely blank, and that was completely by accident. I actually applied my mascara there before I was going to. I was gonna try to smudge something out, but I totally forgot. So I just left it blank. So on my eyes, the only other things are the Kat Von D Tattoo Trooper liner, and then I have for my mascara today this Guerlain Maxi Lash. This is just a really nice kind of natural, everyday, pretty eyelashes. On my cheeks, I have this e.l.f. blush in Blushing Rose. I think this is a really pretty shade. And then one of my favorite all-time highlights, also from e.l.f., is the Baked Blush in Pinktastic. It's called a blush, but it's a highlight. So you can see that there. On my lips, I have this BH Cosmetic liner. It's called the Waterproof Lip Liner, and the name is just Rouge. That's what that looks like. And then the lipstick I'm wearing is from NARS. It is just from their regular line, not the Audacious line. And this is called Scarlet Empress. This is one of my favorite fall shades.